Hello, and welcome to the 253rd edition of Beer Issues. My name is Matt Bruckert, and I'm coming to you live here from Casa de Bruckert. We're going to be having another world-class beer. Today, we're going to be having from Dogfish Head, we're going to be having their Utopias Barrel-Aged Worldwide Stout, which I'm very, very excited about. So, I'm going to waste no time. I'm going to go ahead and open it, and we'll get started here. Now, let me talk a little bit about this beer. So, you might be familiar with Utopias beer, which is made by Samuel Adams. It's their world-renowned beer that sells for some ridiculous amount of money, and we did do a beer issues on it once before. I think that beer clocks in at 28%. It's a very, very expensive beer. I mean, like one of the bottles is like over $250. It's kind of crazy. But they take the Dogfish Head Worldwide Stout, they collaborate and use the barrels that they created the Utopias in. Now, the Utopias is made with several different kinds of barrels, the liquor that's been through them, such as sherry barrels, bourbon barrels, port barrels. There's a whole variety that they cycle through to make the Utopias. But anyway, then that Utopias beer ages in these barrels that they then use to make this beer, okay? So they take their world famous worldwide stout, which is already a pretty strong imperial stout, and then they age it in the barrels that they age the Utopias in, okay? So this beer clocks in at 17.3% alcohol by volume. So it's definitely nothing that you're gonna sit around the poolside and pound. Like I said, the Utopias is 28%. This beer rates 98 out of 100. According to the Beer Spectator. And let's just go ahead and let's smell it. And let's see what kind of delicious smells we get out of this. I will tell you, I've never had this beer. I've had the regular worldwide stout, and I think I had the bourbon barrel worldwide stout, but I've never had this Utopias. But I've had the Utopias beer before, so this should be very interesting. And if it even has any similar taste to the Utopias, we're in for a treat. So let's go ahead. So right off the bat, I'm getting a ton of like barley, malty. There's a sweetness of like vanilla, cherry, chocolate maybe. There's a booziness, and I can't put a distinct, I think I'll get a better when I taste it. I'll be able to tell what kind of booze that's actually the taste is coming through. But it smells like it could be like a combination, kind of like we talked about with the Utopias, with the sherry, the port, the bourbon, you know, the whole shooting match. So let's waste no more time. I smell some definitely vanilla. But it smells like a whiskey or a bourbon, definitely distinct smell I just got. And the cherry is like a dark cherry, you know, like a dark cherry, not like a sweet cherry. It's a little bit like darker cherry. Anyway, it smells delicious. So let's go ahead and try this out. They say with this beer, and I haven't had it before, they say this first sip or two, you don't get the full complexity of the beer, even though I did let it warm up a little bit here so we weren't drinking it too cold, because you kind of want a beer like this to be a little bit, not warm, but you want it to be warmer. You don't want it at refrigerator temperature. You want it to sit out for a while before you have it, which is why I'm trying to, you know, make sure that it's not too cool. So let's go ahead and try it. That is really, really good. That is really, really good. So you're getting a nice, strong imperial stout. You're getting the same flavors, the cherry. You get the bourbon whiskey. I'm not sure, whiskey bourbon definitely in there. Maybe even like a sweetness in the booze, like maybe sherry. Um, or port, but I think it's more the sherry flavor that I'm tasting. But they recommended when I was reading about this beer is taking a couple of sips, and as you basically, it's not like it's the because it's so high in alcohol. Initially, you're tasting a lot of the alcohol, as to where once you get through the first sip or two, you're even supposed to get more flavors. The complexity comes out a little bit more. So I'm going to try that here. Mm. Now that is good. That is boozy. And I'll be honest with you, not to badmouth Dogfish, because I love Dogfish, but their regular worldwide stout, I was never a giant fan of. And the reason, and let me explain myself so you people who love the worldwide stout don't hate on me. But the reason is it always tasted to me like they tried too hard to kick up the alcohol content instead of working on making it a great imperial stout. I mean, I love imperial stouts, but I think the regular worldwide stouts around, this percentage, like 18% or something like that. And to me, just tasting it, it's a little bit too boozy. And I like boozy beers. Now this, on the other hand, is boozy, but it's got complexity to it, which I really, really like. I mean, you're drinking it. There's no doubt about that, because it is definitely got a kick to it. But it's got a kick that's got so many flavors in there. It's just kind of like your mouth is like getting all these like different sensory buds are going off. It's really quite delicious. But if you don't like a really boozy beer, this might not be for you, because it definitely is a boozy one. Oh yeah. And the more you drink it, the more enjoyable it is. Now I couldn't drink more than one of these because first of all, it's 17.3% alcohol by volume, but I think one of these is good. And the other thing that I think this thing says ages well. I'm not going to drink another one of these for several years. And the reason being is a beer like that's this high in alcohol content will age extremely well, and that strong boozy flavor over time will mellow out a little bit, and it might even be more delicious, and I'm thinking that it will be. So I got 4 of these. So this is my first one, and it'll probably be the only one I'll have for a while. I'm going to wait at least a couple of years before I have another one. I think one of them I'd like to see what it's like after about 10 years. Because you can age a beer like this for 10 years and that's not a problem because of the high ABV. It will age much better. So I'll probably try one at 2 years, one at 5, and then one at 10. We'll see. We'll see. I like to hold on to beers like this because they're special. Anyway, Absolutely delicious beer. Dogfish Head makes great beers all the way around. Make great hoppy beers, great New England style. I mean, just across the board. I am a big fan of Dogfish Head. And this definitely does not let me down. I'm very happy that I got it, and I think that as much as I love it and I'm enjoying it, I think I'm going to hold on to my other ones for a while longer, okay? So if you've enjoyed this, make sure you tell your friends about beer issues and how much fun we're having talking about great beer, world-class beers like this, and drinking great beers. If you want any cool Beer Issues gear, make sure you check out shop.beerissues.com. And as my wife likes to say, I have beer issues.